Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for listening to the 189th ever episode of the Missouri Sports Podcast, brought to you by 106 Apparel and Recording from the Revel Advertising Studio in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron Albert, alongside my good friend and fellow Mizzou fan, Kyle DeVries. How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm great, Cam. I did something this week that I have never done before.
Let's hear it.
And it was a little out of the ordinary for me, but I decided to get a massage, a professional massage this week.
Nice.
And
treat yourself.
Yeah, it went pretty well. Honestly, I'm like a little introverted and like I'm a little I get anxious about like new things, but and I was just like, it's like a man massaging me. I was like, how is this gonna go?
Yeah. And
I don't know, it went pretty well, but I did have this funny moment where I like realized like mid massage I forgot to take my socks off or whatever. and the guy was like, he's like, do you want me to take your socks off? And I was like, absolutely, just like, I can't believe he just like offered to do that. And I was like it's all right, I can get it. He's like, no, you're good, man, I got it. So this professional masseuse just takes off my socks for me. And I just thought that was the most hilarious thing.
Did a foot massage follow? The feet were part of it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Carry lots of toxins in your feet, you got to get them out.
I didn't know that, but wow. From 1 to 10, your experience overall?
I would say maybe like a 7. Like it was a great experience, I guess. I'll put it. I'll say I'm glad I did it, but I don't know that I like need to do it again necessarily. It was like a 60-minute thing. And by the end of it, I was like I've enjoyed this, but I'm ready to move on through the next thing on my day.
Something sort of related that we have here in Springfield that I've been wanting to try is the float spa, where you float in a sensory deprivation chamber. They do massages at the same place, and that seems like a pretty cool 1-2 combo. Get nice and relaxed in the massage, and go float for a little bit.
There you go.
I've been wanting to try that.
Don't even know what world you're in, man.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you survived your massage.
Thanks.
I've never gotten a professional massage. I've sometimes for some reason I found myself in a situation where they're giving out like free samples where you just like lay on the little thing for like 5 minutes and they just like do your shoulders or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm always so tense and I just like can't relax my neck and shoulders that it's just not enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, but if I got my mind right and went into it knowing I'm doing the full experience, maybe I could relax enough to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk about Mizzou basketball, Mizzou football, and before we get into all of that, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. We're really close to 400 subscribers, so we could use your help. Get us up to 400. We would really appreciate it. Also, leave us a review if you listen to us on Spotify. Leave us a rating or Apple or wherever. Let us know what you think. And you can support the podcast directly through Patreon, patreon.com/Missouri Sports Pod. Kyle, let's start it out with a few football notes. The first game of the season against Louisiana Tech has been moved to Thursday, September 1st, 7 p.m., and it'll be on ESPNU. So nationally televised game, first game of the season, Thursday night.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun. I don't know that everybody will like that. There's probably some people that maybe have to work during the week or something and maybe won't be able to go if they were originally planning to on a Saturday. But for the most part, I think this is a good move to be in the spotlight, at least TV-wise for sure. And there's probably not as many games to compete with for viewership. And sometimes I feel like Missouri kind of competes with the holiday of that weekend. I guess that would be what, Labor Day. Yep. And hopefully that would kind of clear up that issue. Maybe more people would come out on a Thursday night. So
yeah, I kind of love it, and specifically the holiday thing. It's like I feel like for people in Columbia, start your holiday on Thursday night with a Mizzou football game. Just plan on that being part of your holiday weekend, and that's a pretty nice way to start it off, I think.
Yeah, with a win.
Yeah, and everybody that will watch at home, kind of give Missouri the spotlight a little bit.
I have no idea how many games will be on that Thursday, but I feel like maybe there's usually 4 or 5 games that are happening, maybe one Power 5 game or something like that. So
yeah, I feel like there will be I was going to say that I feel like there would be a more marquee matchup on ESPN proper.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I've seen maybe like a Florida versus Miami or or Florida State or something like that game. Like I don't know, something like that.
More of a rivalry, yeah.
Yeah.
So that is that. Hopefully Missouri starts off the season with a win. But Missouri maybe still is looking for a quarterback because JT Daniels, the Georgia transfer quarterback, committed to West Virginia. It was down to Mizzou, Oregon State, and West Virginia, and most people thought it was really down to Mizzou and Oregon State.
Yeah.
But
because
West Virginia was not out of it, and they pulled it off.
Yeah, it sounded like he maybe didn't want to play in the SEC, and he's from California, so I thought maybe the West Coast team had a little bit of an edge, but that wasn't the case. And
supposedly his visit to Mizzou went really well. He watched the spring game and was impressed. I mean, he seemed to enjoy his time in Columbia. But
a couple of thoughts. I feel like it's possible. Is there still like a chance that he might not start if he came here? Did Brady Cook actually look too good in the spring game? I don't know. That's maybe something to think about. I don't know the West Virginia quarterback situation as well as I know Missouri's, obviously, so I don't know if maybe that path to playing time looks a little more clear for him. Yeah,
this, depending on what the West Virginia situation is, this might be completely wrong. But I could see a situation where he was looking for someone to basically guarantee him the starting job. And if the Mizzou staff wasn't willing to do that, then maybe that helped him with his decision. I don't know if I would. I might have been inclined, if it were me, to just say, yeah, you got it. But
yeah, it's tough,
I can't fault the staff for not doing that either.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. I have no idea what it takes to recruit a player to come to your school, and I have no idea what kind of promises happen behind the scenes. But I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if that's a sure enough thing to make a promise like that and deal with the potential repercussions.
Yeah,
I don't know what the repercussions are, honestly, but
you lose the locker room.
Yeah, I guess.
No, I agree with you there for the most part. Okay, so still pretty quiet for football. There was a preferred walk-on that committed to Mizzou, but it's a pretty quiet time right now for football news.
I mean, at this point, what does Missouri just do we just shut down the transfer quarterback situation at this point? This has been an exhausting
I don't think they're going to. I mean, if you're asking my opinion, I don't know.
Should they or will they?
I feel like they probably should just kind of move forward with, in just my opinion, Brady Cook is the starter. If they do uncover something after other schools go through their spring practices and everything, if there's a transfer out there that, there's going to be a quarterback or two that would be worth having that didn't win the starting job at their previous school in spring practices and stuff. So I don't know. I kind of feel like at this point, we've missed on a couple guys in the transfer portal. Let's just roll with Brady Cook and see what we can do. Sam Horn will be here.
I was going to say,
to compete.
Are we forgetting too much about Sam Horn? Does he have a shot to win the job?
Well, that's the thing. Is like I don't think the staff would be trying this hard to get a quarterback if they thought that Sam Horn could actually win the job this year.
Yeah, it's really, really hard for a freshman to come in and start for an SEC program like his first year.
Especially not enrolling early.
Yeah. He's been on campus for 2 months and trying to win the starting job. That's really, really hard to do.
Yeah. So now what will they do? I think they're going to keep looking, honestly.
It seems like it.
Because Coach Drinkwitz has kind of shied away from talking about the quarterback situation to some extent, but he's also basically said we are not going to close the door on adding a quarterback.
He's kind of hidden the quarterbacks from the media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It makes him look more, not guilty, but you know what I mean? It makes it seem like a little more sketchy than if it was just straightforward, we're going to roll forward with these guys.
Right. Yeah, so I think maybe they should shut it down a little bit unless somebody is just like begging to come here, but I really do think they're going to add a quarterback before the season starts.
It's mid-April. I mean, it's not like we're close to the season or anything necessarily, but I feel like we got to be running out of we're running out of room here to legitimately add an actual
an impact guy for
impact piece.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird because Missouri's spring stuff was so early that I feel like these conversations would feel more normal if
maybe
we were on a more standard timeline.
That's probably true.
There, but We will see. I don't know. It does make me nervous. I'm like kind of just choosing not to think about it because football is a little ways away still.
Yeah.
But when it comes closer to the season starting, I think the question marks around the quarterback spot are going to make me nervous. All right. Ready to switch gears to basketball? We have a new assistant coach, Kyle. His name. We got to get this out of our system. His name is Dickey Nutt. Dickey Nutt. Dickey Nutt.
The radio voice 2 weeks in a row, huh?
That's all you're going to get of it.
No, that was plenty. I'm totally happy with that.
Dickey Nutt, hired as basketball assistant.
Yeah, congratulations. I got to be honest, I've never heard of this guy, and I don't know how I've never heard of a guy that's named Dickey Nutt.
And he coached at SEMO.
Yeah, he has like ties to Missouri.
Yeah.
But I'm on board. I'm all in on this guy.
Yeah, a little bit of his backstory. So let's see here. I got to pull it up. Coached at SEMO. He also coached at Arkansas State. He was the head coach, both of those places. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of success either place. And
tough places to win.
Yeah. More recently, he was on the staff with Coach Gates at Cleveland State. And they also coached together at Florida State. So.
Been around the block?
Yep. Head coaching experience, knows the state of Missouri to some extent. So seems like a totally acceptable assistant hire, in my opinion. And his name is Dickey Nutt.
That it is.
So, yeah.
Just instantly a legend.
Yes.
No matter what happens.
Yeah. I think the Antlers will be big fans of him.
I think there's even like a lineage of Nuts.
True.
In college basketball too.
Yeah. He's related to he's related to football coach. No, basketball coach. Houston Nutt. Football coach.
Football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I got confused.
College athletics then.
Yeah. Houston Nutt, former football coach. He coached at Ole Miss.
Not very well either.
No. Anything else you want to say about Dickey Nutt?
That's about all I got for now.
Okay. We have some more new additions to talk about. Former Northern Iowa forward Noah Carter has committed to Missouri. Visited last weekend. By all accounts, the reporters and everybody said the visit went well. Obviously, it went well because he committed to Mizzou.
And visits always go well.
That's true.
This is a really nice pickup for Missouri. Great offensive skill set, like really versatile guy with some really good touch around the basket, good footwork. He is kind of just an interesting like body type. You know, he's 6'6". He's built pretty thick. But you know, he's pretty mobile, and he played the 5 at Northern Iowa last year, which obviously Northern Iowa is kind of they usually run pretty small and just shoot a lot and that kind of stuff. But he played the 5 pretty effectively, and like I said, like he finishes around the rim really well, can shoot the 3 decently well. But he's not gonna be playing the 5 at Missouri, I don't think. But you know, he's almost a similar style of play to Kobe Brown. So I'm just a little curious how he's gonna work in. And I don't even know if he's gonna start, honestly, but I think that he will add a lot though.
Yeah, it looks like he has 2 years of eligibility. At Northern Iowa last year, he shot really close to 60% from 2, which is really good. He also shot 128 threes, but only shot 28% from 3. So he shot way too many threes.
Yeah.
And so kind of similar to Kobe Brown in that way.
Yeah.
But Kobe didn't shoot that many. Yeah, kind of just an interesting guy. He's really good with the ball. Like, he's a pretty good assist guy from the post. Doesn't turn the ball over. Yeah, he was asked to score quite a bit at Northern Iowa, but he also had a guard on his team that was pretty dominant. So, you know, if I can see him slotting into, I don't know, maybe backing up Kobe at the 4 spot, but then they could run small lineups with him at the 5 as well.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of running on the assumption that Diarra starts at the 5.
Yeah.
but that's, I guess, not set in stone either.
Yeah, I guess Carter could always play the 5 to some degree if we're going to go really small. But I saw Jeff Goodman on Twitter got kind of an anonymous quote from a coach, and the coach said obviously some of the same things we said, like great offensive skill set and that kind of stuff, but he's going to have to improve his footwork, improve defensively to be able to play at the SEC level. And another thing the coach said, again, I don't know who it is, but the coach said that he might play some wing. So he might play some 3 for us. Like, I just don't know that I see it, but
yeah, his 3-point shooting was better 2 years ago. He shot 33% on over 100 attempts. So, but he needs to get some shots up in the offseason.
Yeah.
Get those percentages up. Another player that has committed to Mizzou is Trey Gamilion. And he was formerly at Cleveland State with Dennis Gates.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting addition where, it may not be the most thrilling addition that we have all offseason. He's not like a super high-scoring guard. He's not like a tremendous shooter or anything. But
1 year guy.
1 year. Is it 1 or 2? I don't know.
It could be 2.
1 or 2 years.
Everybody's acting like it's 1.
Okay.
But it could be 2, I guess.
He's not like super athletic or anything, but I definitely think that this is just a guy that helps you win games and kind of does some of the dirty work and plays really hard and, plays hard all the time. And, I think that he was a very valuable asset at Cleveland State and obviously knows Coach Gates really well. So, again, yeah, I think he averaged like 10.5 at Cleveland State, maybe 4 or 5 rebounds a game. Shot pretty well from free throws, I think. So, and shot well from 2, I think.
Yeah. But. He started almost every game for them last year, and he's a really well-rounded player. Mm-hmm. He's listed at 6'4", 215, and I think he plays a little bit bigger than that on the court.
Yeah.
And he really is capable of playing the off-guard spot, the 2 spot, the 3 spot, the 4 spot. So he can really play 3 positions.
Yeah.
And defensively, he can guard 3 positions easy.
Yeah, he is a great defender and was the defensive player of the year in the Horizon League, I think 2 seasons ago.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really good defensively. His game, I watched some film, obviously, of Cleveland State when Coach Gates was hired, and then when I watched even more when Hodge and Gomillion were on a visit. And he's got a unique game, I think. He reminds me of, like, Jordan Geist a little bit, just kind of that crafty, like, pump fakes, up and under moves in the paint and stuff like that. Not as much of a ball handler as Geist. And then he also sort of reminds me of Javon Pickett a little bit in kind of the slashing. He might be a little bit more athletic than Pickett, honestly. And then there's a little bit of Drew Smith in him too, where he can just do everything. Like he can easily have like a 8.7 rebound, 5 assist game where he's just kind of doing everything and like 1 turnover. So I think he's an intriguing player and a guy who will know Coach Gates' system and kind of help instill the culture early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and just be super solid.
Yeah.
Like there's not going to be any question marks about him.
Yeah, I think the crowd's going to love him, like just the guy that will bring the hustle and the energy all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's another part of like Geist, Pickett, Drew Smith. They were just like the ultimate like high energy hustle guys making plays all over the floor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might be a little bit more excited and a little bit higher on him than most people just because once he starts playing in games, I think the fans are going to come around on him. Even though, yeah, at first glance, it's like, you know, the guy for Cleveland State who's like not highly coveted by other big programs. And Mizzou's not interested in him if they have any other head coach, probably. Mm-hmm. So he was on the visit last weekend. So we still don't know for sure about Demoy Hodge, Sean East, who has been on campus, Jason Roach, who has been on campus. And we really, as of right now, only have 2 spots to fill. So do you think those 2 spots are going to go to 2 of those 3 guys?
If I had to guess, yeah, I think so. I think there's a pretty good chance that Missouri lands Sean East and potentially in the next few days And I just think it makes sense for Jason Roach. What he does is shoot, and what Missouri needs is somebody that can shoot. It's literally that simple, and he's got good size. He's 6'5". We need a solid wing player who is just going to make high volume threes, and he's got at least 3 years of eligibility left. And he named a top 5. I don't really think anybody in that top 5 scares you too much. It just seems to make sense, but he's been radio silent since his visit.
Yeah, and you may have said this. He hasn't visited any other schools.
Okay.
His top 5 was Rice, Pittsburgh, St. Bonaventure, Kansas State, and Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, Kansas State's the only one that's Power 5 conference, and they might have a need at the shooting guard spot. But with his stats from last year, I mean, if I'm the coach, I'm pitching to him, you can play 30 minutes a night.
Yeah.
And shoot 8 threes a game.
Yeah.
If you want.
Literally 40% shooter for extremely high volume.
Yeah.
As a freshman.
Yeah. And good size. He'll be able to shoot over defenses, and he has good range. So
yeah, I really, really hope we get him.
So an interesting wrinkle with Sean East is he was most recently at John A. Logan Junior College, and their coach, Kyle Smith-Peters, has been thrown around as a potential name that could be added to the staff as an assistant coach at Mizzou. And also, 2 episodes ago, I said that Jalen Suggs went to John A. Logan, and that was completely wrong. It was actually Jay Scrubb. He was there at the same time as Mario McKinney. Jay Scrubb now in the NBA.
Thank you for clearing that up. I haven't been able to sleep since.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody out there noticed that.
Maybe.
And immediately knew it was Jay Scrubb. So what do you think about the Sean East, Kyle Smith-Peters? Is that a package deal?
It's very possible, and I kind of think there's some smoke there for sure. This is kind of a highly speculative tweet that came out recently, and I don't even know if it's Missouri related, but Adam Nelson on Twitter says, 2 pretty interesting JUCO moves on the horizon, one involving a Hall of Famer, which I would assume is Sean East, plus one with a head coach taking a D1 assistant spot. So obviously that would seem to make sense with Kyle Smith-Peters and Sean East going somewhere together potentially. It might be Missouri. That's where it seems to make the most sense to me. And it might not be about those two people. I have no idea. But with what we've heard and just the timing of everything, and referencing a top JUCO, Hall of Fame JUCO player, that's Sean East. And I don't know. I think it just makes a lot of sense for that to work out in Missouri's favor.
Yeah, makes sense to me. And I would take him absolutely. We still need guards.
Yeah, Sean East would just be day one starter, I'm sure.
Yeah, at the 1 spot. Then what do you think about Hodge? Do we still take him if he wants to come? Because we're going to have to get into a little bit of scholarship issues here in a minute, but we're running out of spots. There could be more spots made, though.
Yeah, it's always possible that Roach goes somewhere else. I don't know if they're kind of waiting on what's going to happen with the current roster, or they're waiting on maybe they have one guy ahead of the other and they're kind of waiting to see what he does. I know Hodge has been kind of rumored with other schools. Kansas State's been a name that's popped up with him, but I still think Missouri really wants Hodge. I think he was far and away the best player at Cleveland State last year, and he is more highly coveted by other schools. He's probably a top 30, 40 transfer on the market. High volume shooter, quick release. I think a lot of, he's pretty tall too. I'm not sure exactly what his size is, but I definitely think Missouri wants him, and I think it's very possible that he still ends up there for sure.
Okay, so now we're running into an issue where we're running out of spots.
Yeah.
So I split up the players currently associated with the Missouri basketball team, broke it down forwards and guards. So forwards, returning, we have Kobe Brown, Ronnie DeGray, and Yaya Keita. Then incoming new players, Mo Diarra, Aiden Shaw, Noah Carter, and DeAndre Golston. So then with guards returning, as of right now, we have Boogie Coleman, Amari Davis, and Caleb Brown. And I put Trey Gamilion as a guard. That's probably what he'll do most of the time. I mean, we played Mark Smith at the 3 quite a bit. He's definitely more of a guard. So I see that's what's going to happen with Gomillion. But
would you consider Golston a forward?
Probably. I think he played the 3 most of the time at Milwaukee.
Gotcha.
So, like, traditionally that's like small forward, but
Okay.
the 2 and 3 kind of are mixed together a little bit. The 3 and the 4 can be mixed together a little bit. Positionless basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
But obviously we're missing somebody to handle the ball and create for others.
Right.
And
Which Sean East fits that really well. Hodge fits that really well as kind of a scorer and a distributing guard. Both of those guys, I think, can kind of fit that for sure.
I would not feel comfortable. I would not feel comfortable adding Roach and Hodge and then calling it good.
Oh, no. I don't think they would do that.
No. That would be scary as far as like a true point guard. We would be rolling
we
out.
have Boogie, dude. Boogie Coleman.
Yeah.
He's going to play point again.
If he's on the roster, he needs to be spotting up for threes.
Right, in which we've talked about Boogie. We've talked about Amari Davis. I think there's still value in those individuals, like maybe in a different system with a different coach. And, I think
With a point guard?
with a point guard. And I definitely think it's very possible that they're still on the roster and play meaningful minutes next year. But it is going to depend on what the rest of the roster looks like when it's all said and done.
So my dream of having 2 true point guards on next year's roster is seeming
Probably
less
dead.
likely by the day. But I feel like something's got to give a little bit because, I don't know, we're very forward heavy and I don't see Yaya Keita contributing next year. And I see Kobe Brown, Ronnie DeGray, and Noah Carter and Aiden Shaw to some extent all basically playing the same position. Shaw maybe could be the 3 when Kobe's the 4, but there's a lot of overlap there that I'm not exactly comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And Golston, I don't know. There's a lot of forwards,
Yeah.
and this roster is looking too similar to last year's until we get a point guard and a 3-point shooter.
And we've been kind of in on Connor Turnbull as well, who is
True.
like a center. So, and I'm not really sure exactly where we stand with him. I think he was supposed to visit this past weekend and didn't end up making the visit. So, I mean, it seemed to me like we probably weren't going to add Carter and Turnbull, but I don't know.
And if you do add Kyle Smith-Peters, you're going to be leaning on his connections to the JUCO scene. We know Coach Gates wants to mine the junior colleges for all the talent he can get, and that would be Smith-Peters' expertise as well. So I don't know if has other players in mind with the Smith-Peters connection for this year, or eventually you kind of lose those connections a little bit.
Right.
Sometimes you're adding guys to bring immediate players on board. So I would consider myself a little bit nervous still until we hear something from Sean East, but I am still very optimistic about Sean East coming to Mizzou.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only a matter of time. I'd be surprised if he goes anywhere else.
I think so too.
I'll be very happy when he announces. And then I feel like just because he's the only point guard we've been associated with in a serious way, had on campus, I feel like I might be setting myself up for disappointment by expecting too much from him for next year.
That's possible. No Xavier Penson.
Nope. He trimmed his list to 2. Xavier
Yes.
and Mississippi State.
Yes.
Get him out of the SEC.
Get him out.
Go to Xavier. Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
He would be playing for, what's his name?
Sean Miller.
Sean Miller. Oh, man. Go from Will Wade to Sean Miller. Sean Miller, way more upstanding citizen than Will Wade.
Absolutely.
Not even the same ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Do you actually think that?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too. So do you think the roster is going to stay the same as far as what I just mentioned? Do you think there's going to be more departures?
I think there could be, yeah. I think there'll probably be one more at least.
Yeah. Yep. That's going to be wild to just 2 years in a row just completely reset the roster.
Completely have an entire new team of people.
Yeah. Kobe Brown. I feel like Ronnie DeGray was super solidly a part of next year's team in my head.
Mm-hmm.
and then we just keep adding forwards.
I know.
And it keeps pushing him further down. But it's been like nothing from him, Coleman, or Davis, or Kobe Brown.
Yeah. I have no idea what those guys are thinking.
What are they thinking?
What are they thinking? I don't know.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. What if you get Sean East and Jason Roach? Let's just imagine. I'm sorry to do this. We're speculating about players that are currently on the roster. Let's just say somebody doesn't come back next year. Let's say you add, I don't know. I could see Missouri adding like somebody like Keith Schamberger, or who was the backup point guard that Konzo put in the game instead of Penson, and that was the sole reason that Penson transferred.
Think of his name right now.
Drew Buggs.
Yes.
That kind of like backup point guard.
Mm-hmm.
I could still see somebody like that coming in who's just there to not turn the ball over 12 minutes a game.
Like Dylan Penn.
Yeah, maybe so. That would actually be maybe a little bit better than those other two.
Yeah.
Schamberger, he wasn't terrible. Forgettable potentially, but he was on a really bad team. So if we're looking at some combination of those guys, and then we lose, somebody who was already going to be really low down on the depth chart, how happy are you with that roster rolling into next year?
I don't know. I would say I'm satisfied. I think they've got some difference makers, some impact guys. I don't think that anyone's expecting him to turn it around year one or anything like that. So just kind of a place to build on. I'd say I'm satisfied.
And you think we're looking at record-wise, we're looking at an improvement over this past season?
I think so, yeah.
Just having a point guard.
Yes. And someone that could shoot threes.
Yeah. Which we still don't have either one of those yet.
True. That's like the two things it's hinging on, and we don't have either.
Yeah, we don't get those. We might be in for another 12-win season.
Yes.
With those two, we ought to be able to get to 15 to 18 wins.
15, 16.
15 or 16 wins. That's where Kyle's putting it. And then out of the bottom four in the SEC, right?
Yeah.
We can,
if we won 16 games, yeah.
We can do that next year.
I think so.
Okay. I don't like being in the bottom four.
I think the SEC could be weird next year. There's like half a league as a new coach.
That is true.
I think, I definitely think that we could be. I think the SEC will be worse next year than it has been the past couple of years.
So you're telling me Arkansas is going to run away with it, go undefeated?
Not necessarily, because Kentucky exists, but I don't know. It's just too far away. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is my prediction for Arkansas. They're not going to figure it out. They're not going to mesh. There's going to be too many egos. There's going to be too many promises made to get all these guys to Fayetteville.
That's what your heart says, or your brain?
I'm pretty sure it's going to come crashing down.
Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Maybe not that extreme, but just like I think that they could possibly be the preseason #1 team in the country.
Yeah,
and I think some like experts have said that already.
They should be. They should be the odds-on favorite to win it all next year. I say just give them all the expectations possible.
I see where you're going. Yeah. I like it. Give them all the expectations.
Is that basically it for this week?
Yeah.
Man, I love the basketball roster stuff. I love just speculating about what might happen.
I love checking Twitter every 5 seconds.
Yeah. What do you like the bat signal as a concept? And then do you like Coach Gates' use of it? I
would say yes and yes.
Do you like
Sounds like you didn't want me to say that.
No, I don't care. You say whatever you want to say.
Tell us your agenda.
I really did like the Konzo sipping coffee gifs that the social media team would post.
Even when we would land like Axel Congo.
Well, no.
I feel like it became like a humorous thing because he would do it for like, oh, we just landed the number 700 JUCO player.
Well, Coach Gates just did a bat signal for Dickey Nutt, so
that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish when he does it that there would be like 5 minutes before.
Yeah, he does it like he really wants to be first.
Yeah.
He's got to be the first.
Yeah, he keeps weirdos like us and our wonderful listeners checking Twitter constantly after he puts that up.
I feel like he really leans into it for sure, though.
He's like, I'm going to make sure the rest of these people's day is not productive.
He's loving it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. Special thank you to our Patreon supporters at the $10 level and above: Britt Treese, Brian Smith, Ryan D. Moore, Tristan, Ben Smith, Parker, Daddy JD, Luis Hernandez, Tim Keynes, and Tyler Harsel.
Thank you, gentlemen. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter at Mizzou Sports Pod, and you can email us at MissouriSportsPod@gmail.com.
You can find our t-shirts and stickers on our online shop, MissouriSportsPod.BigCartel.com.
You two are getting really good at that.
Thank you. I actually just went through it so effortlessly that I almost felt like, did I just make a mistake?
It's like when you're driving and then you get to your destination, you're like, how did I get here?
Yes, I don't even remember what I just said.
Yeah, that's how you know. Thank you everyone for listening. We will see you next week after Sean East commits.